Jayden Daniels does it the best in this
Simply
class.
put, the best player
He
in
makes them
all
a better
of college
team.
football.
He helps them win today, tomorrow, and 5 years from now. And I'm excited to see him wearing that Commanders colors and really bringing the city back to life.
Goes Jayden Daniels. And when he sees green grass, that man is moving. Gonna launch into the end zone. Out of the pocket. He's gonna run for it. Quarterback draw. The C's part. There goes Daniels again. Extend the play, being chased, and he's able to connect. With pressure, got rid of it, man wide open. He does to the end zone. Lacey got it. Touchdown. Daniels, who's been red hot accurate. Jayden Daniels looking for the end zone.
Welcome into Command Center, presented by SeatGeek, the official primary ticketing partner of the Washington Commanders.
With the second pick in the 2024 NFL Draft, the Washington Commanders select Jayden Daniels, quarterback, LSU.
What's up, Commanders family? Brian Coble Jr. here with Mr. 8 to the 9 Santana Moss and Super Bowl champion Brian Mitchell. Fellas, it's official. The first round is over, and we have picked LSU quarterback Jayden Daniels at number 2. Now, y'all predicted this. Y'all have been talking about this for a long time, that was the guy we were going to get. How are you feeling now that we got our guy?
I mean, I'm happy. I don't feel like we deserve any credit for predicting anything. I think it was something that we thought that should have been the obvious pick. But like he said, now it's time to see him get to work. I mean, I know we have a slew of more picks, to pick, but far as for him, man, it's great to see him off the board. We got our guy, and we can move forward now.
We needed a quarterback. We needed somebody that's going to be exciting. He's that. And they drafted him. That showed that they had a lot of faith in him. I know there were all types of rumors out there and things of that nature. Forget about him. That's all over now. He's in the building. And you know that this guy likes to work. He gets up at 5:30 in the morning and goes through all of his different things to make sure he can understand what's happening on defense. And so if he comes in and hit the ground running like that, he's going to get the respect of the teammates real quick.
And you mentioned all those rumors and all that speculation. I don't think there was any doubt how excited he was when he got called, just smiling ear to ear. I got to ask you guys, we had another prediction, thinking that we may jump back into the first round and go get a tackle. Are you surprised that didn't happen tonight?
I'm very surprised about that. I mean, honestly, when you look at it, and it's something that B. Mitch just, alluded to. Once you start seeing some of the more prominent guys going, it probably didn't make any sense. I mean, but at the same time, there's still some football players out there. So who knows what's going to happen in the second round? But I was hoping. I had my fingers crossed. I didn't want to, I didn't want to bank on it because I didn't want to be let down. But I definitely thought just with that need, we was going to try to find our way to climb back, back in the first round.
And some of the guys that you thought would go later in the first round went a little sooner. And then after that starts happening, then that price goes up. So we understand they can move back in, but you don't want to give up too much. So the ultimate thing is you sit back, and you can probably find somebody still in that second round that can actually play.
Yes, sir. Very, very exciting night. I know we were all excited. We were so happy, but nobody more excited than our new quarterback, Jayden Daniels. I got a chance to interview our new quarterback as soon as he got that call. Let's take a listen. It's time to just chill. Brought to you by Steam Fitters. Steam Fitters Local 602 provides the highest level of HVAC and mechanical piping services. What's good, Commanders family? Brian Coble Jr. here, and I am with our newest pick and our new quarterback, Jayden Daniels. Brother, you came clean. You got the Lokes on, the powder blue, the jewels. How are you feeling right now? You waited your whole life for this moment, man. How you feeling?
I'm blessed, man. I'm excited. Like you said, waited my whole life for this. I dreamt of this as a kid, and now I'm living out my dream.
Yeah, man, it's beautiful, and congratulations on that. The DMV is excited to have you. Now, throughout this whole process, everybody wants to say who Jayden Daniels is. All the analysts want to compare you to other players and say, this guy does this. This is the type of quarterback Jayden Daniels is. From your own mouth, brother, what type of quarterback is Jayden Daniels?
Man, I'm a dog. I'm a competitor. I'm a leader. I'm going to do whatever it takes to win football games.
Amen to that. And then last question for you. We think of these big moments. We dream of these moments. And we think about all the people that are going to be there with us, right? But we don't always understand who might not be there to make it to the finish line with us, people that helped us get there. Your grandfather, you lost your grandfather a few years ago. He helped you get to this point. What do you think he would say to you right now if he could talk to you right now?
Man, he'll be on his phone, cutting up, calling everybody back home, just telling everybody how proud I am. prouder he is of me. You know, I wish he was here physically, but he's watching me above for sure.
Without a doubt, he's proud of you. And, man, if somebody you're proud of is your teammate, Neighbors. He headed to New York, man. How cool is it going to be to play him twice?
Man, it's going to be dope, you know, just be able to play him twice, man. So for many years, I mean, I'm excited. Even he a 40-minute flight away, so, man, he right there. I'm excited, dog.
Man, we can tell you're excited, man. You're smiling ear to ear, man. We're so happy to have you. The Commanders family is so geeked to have you, brother. Can't wait to see what you do this year, man. Congratulations, brother, and welcome to the DMV. Yes, sir. The Heisman winner turned second overall pick. The Commanders' newest quarterback put on a show throughout his college football career. Daniels is etched in the history books as the only quarterback in FBS history with at least 12,000 career passing yards and 3,000 career rushing yards. Daniels earned a total of 50 touchdowns last season and had the highest QBR in the FBS. It's clear to see why Commanders fans are excited about this pick. And for more on how this decision went down, let's toss it to our guys in the studio. Fellas, take it away.
With General Manager Adam Peters, Jayden Daniels, what brought you to the decision to make the pick at him at number 2?
Almost everything, you know, really everything. Everything he's done on the field, off the field. He's, you know, I don't even know where to start. You know, you start with, you know, the road he's traveled, the adversity he's been through, the adversity he's come out of, become a Heisman Trophy winner. He plays the position as well as anyone in the draft. Plus, he can run better than anyone in the draft. So, and then getting to know him, getting to understand the person that he is, talking to his coaches, and you go all the way back to high school. You go into Arizona State with Herm Edwards, and you go to LSU, Brian Kelly. You go to talk to all the staffers. His personal quarterbacks coach. Everything everybody says about him is just exemplary, and we just. You know, we're just thrilled to have him.
You know, over the past few months, we've been hearing a lot about his work ethic.
Yeah.
Getting kicked out of the building by coaches, he's working too much, all the video work that he was doing, the Oculus work he was doing. What did you learn about his work ethic through this process?
It's second to none. Second to none. Those things are the things you look for. The calling meetings at 5 a.m. in the morning, bringing his teammates with him, staying late, wanting to get better, wanting to find every little edge, doing all the VR work that you just spoke about. Those are things you want. Those are things you want in any position, especially your quarterback. And he doesn't do it so everybody knows that he does it to get better, you know.
And you and Coach Quinn have talked a lot about character as important aspects of players that you want to bring in here. What did you learn about the character of Jayden Daniels through all of this process as well?
Yeah, he's as consistent as they come in terms of just consistent every day, even keeled, doesn't get too high, doesn't get too low. He's incredible off the field, he's clean as can be in terms of just being off the field, and he's a really mature, smart person, treats everybody very well, and his teammates love him.
Nobody knew what you guys were going to do, which is amazing because I think everybody knew what Chicago was going to do at number 1. And so once you got to this point, can you kind of take me through the process and getting to the final decision to select Daniels?
Yeah, I think, we try to be process driven in everything we do. So we go through the whole process, see everybody, see all the quarterbacks, but throughout the whole time, it was really easy to fall in love with Jayden right from the beginning. And from the first time I watched him, I couldn't believe how good he was. And then watching him more and more and more, he would do different things. At every game, he would do something that would just blow you away. And so everybody came to the decision, but I think everybody came to this decision individually. It wasn't any group thing, and it was unanimous in the building.
And I don't know if easy is the right word for it, but because there were other really good prospects that were coming out at the position. So in the end, how would you describe coming to consensus about Jayden Daniels?
It was pretty clear. That's probably the best way I could put it. Is pretty clear that he was our guy, and there wasn't a whole lot of discussion, and that's a huge compliment because the other quarterbacks that were coming out in this draft are really, really good. They're great people, and they carried a lot of the same characteristics as Jayden did in terms of being great people, great workers, but I think Jayden stood head and shoulders above the rest.
It's interesting that Marcus Mariota's here. He was a number 2 overall pick. He was a Heisman Trophy winner. He's been down this path. As you kind of look at this quarterback room and what you hope, I'm sure, is mentorship for him, how do you kind of view that moving forward?
Yeah, I mean, Marcus, we brought him in here because we think Marcus can be a starting quarterback, and he has been a starting quarterback. So first and foremost, he's a guy who can win games, he can lead a team, he's won games, he's won playoff games. So you have all that, right? And then you go to the person who Marcus Mariota is, who we've heard about over the years from Oregon throughout his whole NFL career, but to meet him in this building and to see the type of person that he is, he's going to be a great in that room no matter what his role is, and he's just that type of person. We're proud to have him here.
And certainly the long-term obviously goal is to have Jayden become the franchise quarterback for the team at some point. There's a lot of responsibility. You know the drought that's been here at this position. What do you say to him as he kind of walks in the door and takes over as number 2 overall pick, quarterback, Washington Commanders?
Yeah, just be yourself. Be yourself. Do what's gotten you here. Be a great teammate, which he's always been. You know, listen to the vets, and we have full confidence that he's going to be able to handle everything that's thrown at him.
Okay, last thing tomorrow, you've got 5 picks.
Yeah.
What can you share about how you're thinking about how to utilize all this draft capital that you have?
Yeah, I think everything we always do is what's best for the Commanders. So whatever opportunities present themselves, whether it's going up, whether it's going back and getting more picks, what we do know is there's a lot of really good players left. And this is a pretty deep draft for the first 2 days, and we have 5 picks to get a lot of really good players tomorrow, so we're excited.
I know Dan Quinn's happy. I saw a quote from him where he said, Jayden Daniels is the kind of player who can steal your soul on 3rd down. So I know you've made your coach happy today. GM Adam Peters, thank you. And speaking of the coach, he is with Logan and London.
Bram, thanks so much. Coach, man, we are juiced, dude. You got a quarterback. That's always super exciting. What was that process like, and how'd you settle on Jayden at 2?
Well, I think, first off, it was pretty easy to see the talent playing. You know, if you had watched, one of their SEC games from last year or this year, like, that was easy. That was the easy part of the evaluation. What I found out probably over the last 2 months is, like, what a real competitor this guy is. And so you dug back in, you found out how hard he worked through the offseason, like early meetings with receivers, extra work over the summer, like going to any level to improve. And I think he really showed a lot of his resilience, bouncing back, got injured in a game to come back against Florida and play like the game of his year. So I think those are the traits, that I wanted to see. And those are the traits of the very best players. And so that kind of toughness, that kind of commitment to get better, like, that's the stuff that can lift a team.
When you get an opportunity to draft a quarterback that early in the draft, number 2 overall pick, what do you think this means to this franchise for, this area? They've been looking for a franchise quarterback for so long.
Yeah, and I think what the fans and the team will love about him is just like this will, this competitive drive, like he is a real dog. And so, like, seeing that kind of fight, seeing that kind of play, I think when our friends and our family watch us play, people like Jayden will be the ones that say, man, this guy balls out. Like, he is tough, he finishes, he goes. And so the more of those guys we get on the team, the better. And so we've added some, and we're going to add some more to it. But I think that's when people see us play, I think they're going to see one hell of a competitor.
And so one thing you said there is like the level of improvement. How important was that to the evaluation with him? Because he just seemed like at every possible step, he found a way to get better.
Yeah, and I think that's like, and both you guys know, that's like the key to being a really good NFL player, like going from one spot to the next. And it's easier when you're down lower. And now as you get good to take the next step. So, like, he was already performing well, the year he went to LSU, to take it up again and go bigger. That's the stuff that I want. They dug deep, found ways to get better, and he'll do it again in the NFL. And like, that's just how he is and what he's made of.
This is your first time working with Adam Peters as a general manager. What was that process like between you guys, and not just with Jayden Daniels, but also just as you're kind of going through this process of identifying the type of players that you want to be a part of the Washington Commanders?
Yeah, well, it started early. Like, he was the person that picked me up at the airport. Like,
how cool is that, man? That's awesome, man.
Dude, like,
that's
I was
great.
totally blown away. Like, as a coach, what are you looking for from a general manager? Like, a partner, that's there on the best of days, but as important, there on the hardest days too. And so somebody that wants to, pick you up at 10 o'clock at night on your very first day at the job, like, that says a lot about him. And then as we watched tape together and went through things, you could just tell this was a guy that was on it. And so I can, like, vividly remember being in his office, and we put one of the first games on was of Jayden, and watching him play, and his detail, the explanations, what he saw, it was just like going to a master class in scouting. And so it was like, all right, I called my wife that night. I said, I think we picked the right spot.
I got to ask you this. When you're looking at these different quarterbacks, and whether it was going to be Jayden, Drake, J.J. McCarthy, at some point did you ever say, this is the guy that I don't want to game plan against? If I'm a defensive coordinator, 100%. He's the one that I don't want to game plan against.
And I think you would know this better than anybody, the people that can create when like a blitz happens, doesn't get blocked, and he still gets out of the pocket and completes it anyway for like an explosive play. Those are the ones that drive a defensive coordinator crazy. You think you have it, and then all of a sudden the second play just begins. Yes. He gets outside the pocket, he rips one out, or he can speed up on a blitz. And so I think I was impressed by the chunk plays. He can push the ball down the field and make big plays. And like in our league, you guys know how important that is. Yeah. But it's also just as important when things get off schedule. How can I not take the sack, not throw the interception, not take a penalty? Those are the things that you don't see him do, and he doesn't put the team in a bad space. He's a competitor. Okay, this one's done. I'm out. Yes. I scrambled. I got the first down, but I didn't force the throw. And so to me, that's like when a person's been in the games, they've had experience. This guy's had a lot of starts. And so like sometimes that's a good thing. You've been in the fights, you've made some mistakes, like, I ain't doing that again. Yeah. Like it'll happen again in the NFL, like as it goes, but just knowing what he's made of, I know that that's a big piece of like he's not backing off of anything.
So obviously quarterback, huge piece, right? Yep. Competitive, obviously all the things you talked about. A lot more picks tomorrow, yep. Right? What are we thinking about tomorrow? How's that process going to go?
Yeah, and going into it, knowing that we had 6 picks from 2 to 100, we knew that was a big deal because we're going to add all sorts of different people into it. But I think when you guys walked past my office, you saw that picture of Daryl, of hitting somebody, and like that's the competitive ass environment I want to create here with everybody.
No doubt.
He's somebody that embodies that. And so I'm not saying we have to pick Daryl Green, although that'd be
nice. That'd be
really nice. I would be definitely for that. But I also want to know like that's also what I want us to be about.
Yeah.
And represent, and that kind of toughness, that kind of fight, that kind of attitude, that kind of like standard of how you want to go play. And so that's at the driving part of what I think about as we get into tomorrow. Now, position-wise, there'll be a bunch. Yeah, we have 5 picks, so it's not like one's over the other, but they're close enough that we're going to get some really good players to add to this group.
I don't think that anything else needs to be said after that. I can't wait to see.
Thank you, man.
See what else we do.
Looking forward to tomorrow, man. Really excited, man.
All right, appreciate it, Coach.
Always great to see 2 legends get to chop it up with Coach on such an important night. We're so excited to see what our head coach and our new quarterback can accomplish headed into this next season. And we know we aren't the only members of the Burgundy and Gold who are excited. Our Get Loud crew, Michael Jenkins and Fred Smoot, were at the fan party at Franklin Hall on Thursday night to witness firsthand the reaction to the picking of Jayden Daniels.
Washington Commanders select Jayden Daniels.
It's been a heck of a night here at Franklin Hall in D.C. where the Commanders finally have their quarterback of the future, and you saw the crowd here.
Yeah.
Once Jayden Daniels was picked, they went nuts.
Well, the one thing I know about going to the prom, when they see the prom king and the prom queen, everybody likes to give a cheer. And I had a lot of fans coming to me before the party like, oh, we're going to get Daniels. Oh, we're going to get Daniels. And I kept asking them, why not Mayor? Why not this person or this person? And everybody was just so on Daniels. So to see that and to see the crowd erupt, it showed me that they was not only entertained by what happened tonight, they was emotionally intrigued by it.
And there were some reports out there that maybe he didn't want to come here, wanted to go to the Raiders. But once you heard him, he really wants to be a part of this franchise and is ready to work.
Well, you know what? The 2 weeks leading up to the draft is everybody finding reasons why not.
Yeah.
Why not to draft a guy, why a guy don't want to be here. Until Jayden said that, I didn't believe it anyway. Like, everything is nuts. And I'm not shocked if New England did that and said that. You know, at the end of the day, you play the cards that you dealt. But I think right now, we feel good about where we're standing at right now, and we're looking forward to the days to come.
When you look at him, before we talk about the rest of the draft, what is it about him that's so impressive? Because he is probably as electric as any quarterback in this draft.
Well, I think people look at him, and because he's so good as a runner, he ran for 1,000 yards, they like, oh, no, he's a run first guy. He's a pass first guy.
Right.
You got to realize he's a guy that can push the ball down the field. Yes, we're going to have to work on the intermediate and the middle route, getting him used to throwing the tight ends more than he did in college. But I think he's electric. And like Coach Quinn said, if the quarterback could keep me up all night, he's going to keep other coaches up all night. So he becomes a nightmare matchup. And also, while you're in the process of collecting offensive linemen and getting the offense where you want it to be, he can break people down with his legs and make plays until everything else gets to par.
And let's not forget, this is a huge draft for this team.
Yeah.
Many more picks besides number 2 overall. 8 picks overall in this draft.
Yeah.
What else does this team need?
Well, of course, everybody gonna say, where are the offensive linemen? But we saw out the 6 quarterbacks went off the board. The offensive linemen started to push off the board also. So yes, we gotta add an offensive lineman. Some people say, why wouldn't we add a tight end, a speed guy? We add a big wide receiver. So we have options having 2 second-round picks, and we got early second-round picks.
Yeah.
And you got guys like Cooper DeJean that dropped in the draft. Like you got some surprising guys that dropped in this draft. So now I think they'll take the night and say, you know what? Are we going best player available?
Right.
Are we adding for need? And I think this is a best player available type front office.
I'm surprised you still have a voice because we've been talking to people and you've been talking to people all night.
I enjoy the talk. That's why I rep. So when it comes time to this, I don't lose my voice.
Yeah.
I'll be ready for tomorrow. I'll be ready for the next day. So at the end of the day, when you get excited like this and to see the city so electric like it was, it does a lot for me. And I can't wait for these youngsters to play in front of that crowd.
Been a great night for this franchise. Great night for this city, and we've enjoyed it here at Franklin Hall. That's Fred Smoot. I'm Michael Jenkins. We're going to send it back to you guys.
It's time for our lucky numbers presented by Maryland Lottery Fast Play Games. Play fast, win fast today, but please play responsibly. Adam Peters and company still have plenty of moves to be made in this draft. Here's a look at our remaining picks after round 1. You see 2 picks in the second round and 3 in the third round, rounding out with 2 picks in the 5th and 1 more in the 7th. Plenty of draft capital to go around in these next 2 days. Fellas, as you guys saw, a lot of draft capital to play with tomorrow. So let's look at it right now. What are you expecting from these picks? Who do you think comes next, especially in the second round?
Well, I think it's still a valuable. I mean, we still have valuable picks to go out there when it comes to just trying to fulfill that offensive line spot. I still believe that we need to get a tackle. So the second round is still a prime spot to go out there and get one of those guys. I think when you get that settled, then you have to look at cornerbacks. I think that's another position that we're going to have of need, losing Fuller. But, second and third round is great areas to go pick up those kind of guys.
I think when you look at it, man, a lot of our fans think that first round is the only way you can find people. Yes, you can find some great ones there, but there are a lot of people in the second and third round. If you go and look at San Francisco and think about their top players, okay? Kittle, like a 5th rounder, 4th round, 5th rounder. Their linebacker, Warner, 2nd rounder. Look at our team, okay? Terry McLaurin, 3rd rounder. Brian Robinson, Sam Cosmi. So when you look at all those players, you can still find a lot. And we have 5 picks in those next 2 rounds. So you can really make this team better right there. And it may be somebody who was projected to go first. You got to run on those tackles. They might have dropped down a little bit. You can find somebody in a position with a first-round grade in the second round.
And it's not rare to find starters in the second, third rounds, even the 5th round. There's plenty to do. So you guys have mentioned tackle. You guys have mentioned defensive back. What other positions of needs do you want to see filled tomorrow?
Tight end is going to stand out. I think we brought in Ertz, but we can use a guy that we can kind of groom, especially with him being there. And then you can't help yourself but think, if a Keon Coleman is sitting around at one of those picks in his second round, you say, hey, we can get a tackle later. You might want to grab a guy like him to fulfill that, that third, spot for our wide receivers. I think you can always get better at that position. So, those 3 positions stand out to me.
Tight ends have become a luxury position.
Yeah.
And you have some in this draft here, a bigger receiver. But ultimately, for me, I still think you go for a corner.
Yeah.
You have to find somebody out there that you feel very, very comfortable with. And in the second round and the third round, you can definitely find somebody. Like I said earlier, you can find somebody in other rounds. If you can get 24 first-round picks, get them.
Yeah.
But you can't. You got to find other people. You don't have any football teams with all first-rounders on there.
Fellas, man, we had some fun today, man.
Yeah.
Fun in Detroit. first round, crazy. We got our guy.
It was a long one.
I think it's been a long one. I think it's time for us to go get some food, man. I think we've done earned it. But Commanders family,
drink.
Whatever B-Mitch says is what we doing. Commanders family, don't worry though. We will be back live Friday for another pre-draft show, and then we'll also be on the clock for all 5 of our picks in this next 2 rounds. Commanders family, thank you guys so much for being here. And remember, we will also have Logan Paulson, Fred Smoot, and London Fletcher all here with us. We'll be jumping around to different places. We had a lot of fun doing that today, guys. And you know what? Hopefully Logan Paulson brings a better outfit tomorrow. For the Commanders family, we are here until Friday. See ya.
Shrapnel.
Join me as I take a deep dive into the least consulted ticketing app in history, SeatGeek. Did SeatGeek invent the ticket?
No, but we do make them work.
Drum roll, please. Ooh, how do I use the Seat View feature?
It shows seats with a pole blocking the view. Don't buy those.
What if I want to sit behind a pole?
Buy those.
Join me as I bore you to death with a series of interviews about a ticketing app that just does what it's supposed to do.